Hello, my people. Welcome back. If you don't hate me yet, I'm sorry. I know it's a lot of notes, but you guys got this. Again, take really good notes. This is a massive unit and just buckle in, okay? So our next celebrity of the day, so we've already talked about Nancy the neuron. We've talked about the two main systems within our body, which is the central nervous system and the peripheral. But I hate to break it to you guys, there is another system in our body. I know. And this is called the endocrine system. And the endocrine system has a very specific job and it travels in a specific way, okay? And I like to call it the second communication system because we have our central nervous system and now we have the endocrine system. So the central nervous system is super quick and it's through the central nervous system that it travels. It travels through the spine. It's very, very quick. The endocrine system is the grandma system. And I like to call the endocrine system snail mail, okay? And so please write that down. It's gonna make sense in a minute. So let me move my camera. And so the endocrine system is the body's slow chemical communication system. This communication system is carried out by hormones. Okay, so this is not neurotransmitters that are being sent through, it is hormones. Okay, so the endocrine system is your hormonal system. It's the system that gives you acne. No one? Anyone? No? Okay. So the endocrine system is your hormone system. And something I would like you to write down in your notes. Hormones travel through the bloodstream, not the central nervous system, not up the spine into the brain. Hormones are secreted through the bloodstream, and that is why it's called snail mail. It takes longer for things to travel through your blood than your neurotransmitters, right? Nancy the neuron, very quick, right? It's like being on the freeway. Think of the endocrine system. Instead of sending your friend a text, think of the endocrine system as having your grandma handwrite a letter, have her walk it on out to the mailbox, and then send it. It takes a little longer, and it's because our hormones travel through our blood. And so on our left, these are the main players in our endocrine system, okay? So the main players in our endocrine system, sorry, that was an alert on my laptop, okay, is the hypothalamus, the thyroid glands, the pituitary gland, parathyroids, adrenal glands, which is our fight or flight response that we mentioned, pancreas, and the testes and ovaries, whichever one. And so all of these, and I'm going to go through each of these in different slides, so don't worry, I'm going to explain them a little more. They all play a part in the endocrine system. Okay, again, it's your hormone system, and we're going to go through what each of them do together. So hang on, okay, so don't worry. And also, a lot of these we'll be learning in later chapters as well, or we're going to be building from it. All right, dun, 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 dun. So first, let's talk about hormones. Yes, so hormones are chemicals synthesized by the endocrine glands. So your glands secrete your hormones into your bloodstream. Hormones affect the brain and many other tissues in our body. Okay, so yes, we are dictated by our hormones. Let's find out how and what secretes what type of hormones, okay? So first, so for example, I forgot to tell about my example. Epinephrine, which is adrenaline, increases heart rate, blood pressure, blood sugar, and feelings of excitement during emergency situations, right? So adrenaline is, it's secreted through, it's a hormone, right? So it's secreted through, runs through your body, but it also takes a while for it to leave your body, right? So as you're done with your race, right? And right when you cross the finish line, you're all of a sudden you're okay again? No, it takes a while for your blood pressure to go down. It takes a while for the epinephrine to leave your body, right? And so that's why it's not a quick response, right? So not as quick as me picking up my cup with Nancy the neuron. Again, hormones take longer to leave your body. Okay, so for example, say I'm Sally. Right. Well, let's admit it's me. Okay. It's me. Let's just say in the past, so this happened a few years ago, and I love food. I also love cake. I love chocolate cake. I love all the sweets. But imagine your brother stealing the chocolate cake that you've been waiting to eat all day. My anger, it's there. It takes a little bit to rise, and then you're really angry. But I also had to go in my room and calm down because I was so angry that my brother stole the last piece of chocolate cake. So again, hormones, they take a while to get there, but they also take a while to leave. Okay, so the bloodstream is a fickle thing. Okay. All right, so within the endocrine system, first we have to look at the adrenal glands, okay? So the adrenal glands consist of the adrenal medulla and the cortex. And so what you need to know is that so the medulla secretes hormones, so epinephrine and norepinephrine during stressful emotional situations, while the adrenal cortex regulates, your metabolism. So what you need to know is that the adrenal glands help trigger the fight or flight response. And I always think of adrenal adrenaline, right? Because it's giving you that start. And also your pancreas is involved because as you're, so the reason we eat food is for glucose, which is energy, right? So as we eat, we get higher levels of glucose and that gives us energy. So your pancreas also helps regulate, oh here, let me move my camera, there you go, helps regulates the level of sugar in your blood, okay? So adrenal glands are very, very important to the fight or flight response, okay? So they release the sympathetic nervous system, right? So that's where your arousal kicks in. All right. And now we have the pituitary gland, and this is called the master gland, okay? So if you write pituitary gland, if you guys can draw a little crown on the pituitary gland's head, the pituitary gland is in charge of growth. It is in charge of growth, okay? And I think, did I not? I must have not specified on that one. So write down pituitary gland is in charge of growth. That is how you grow. And an interesting story I have to tell you real quick. Okay, so this is like how you get growth spurts. The pituitary gland is very, very small. It's right in there. Okay, and this is a very dramatic story of what the pituitary gland can do if it is hindered. So one of my friends of a friend, I forget how we're connected. She was dating this boy, or should I say man. He was 21. I think he was 21 or 22, but he looked like a 13-year-old, okay? And he finally went to the doctor. He was short. He was not built. He didn't even look like he went through puberty. And this is why we go to the doctors as we grow, because we need to know, what's normal and what's not. They found when he was 21, because they just thought that he was going to have a late growth spurt, there was a tumor that was pressed up against his pituitary, which caused him to stop growing. This pituitary wasn't able to secrete the hormones it needed in order for puberty to happen, right? And how would they have found that without any other guesses? And that's why we make sure that we follow, when your growth spurts happen. But the pituitary gland is very small, but very, very important. And one of my students from a couple years ago said, if we take out the pituitary, will we stop wrinkling? Because essentially the pituitary also helps you age, right? Because it's growth and, as you start to get white hairs. And I said, no, you're probably going to die if you take out the pituitary. So you guys need your pituitary, okay? But it is the growth hormone, okay? So it is the growth gland. So it's how you grow. So it's the master gland. You don't want to mess with it. All right, and then we have our thyroids, okay? So if you know anyone who has thyroid issues, they will know what to talk about. So the thyroids regulate your metabolic and calcium rate. So essentially it affects your metabolism, okay? It affects it's essentially your metabolism. I know it says other things, but really focus on metabolism. And the parathyroids, which para is just underneath, it helps regulate the levels of calcium in your blood. So they go hand in hand. What I really want you to remember is the thyroids. And if you have overactive thyroids, it controls your weight. So if you know anyone who has thyroid issues, it could go one of two ways. I have a friend, so if you have an overactive thyroid, you tend to eat more. If you have an underactive thyroid, you don't eat as much. So people who deal with thyroid imbalances, thyroid issues, where there's either not enough secretion or there's too much, people tend to either gain a lot of weight or they have problems gaining weight. So people who are either very obese or very skinny and they say they have a thyroid issue, that is because their metabolism is messed up. And people can take thyroid medications. One of my best friends who's a nurse, her thyroids were so essentially she had an overactive thyroid, and she has to take medication to help lower it because she needs to keep, she doesn't want to eat as much as what her body is telling her that she needs to eat, right? Because your metabolism, it gets messed up with your thyroids, okay? All right. And yes, my people, yes, a little bit of health here. So again, something to go with our hormones, right? Our sex glands are located in different places in men and women. If you're shocked, maybe we should go back to health class, my people. Again, our ovaries and testes also play a part in our hormones. Who knew, right? Puberty. Okay, so real quick, let me make sure I'm not going over. Okay, so this is our last slide. I'll stop us here and come back for our last video.